Biker Dads brought to you by Garza Law, Thunder Roads Magazine of Tennessee and Kentucky, and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Hi, I'm Chris Best, and I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell stories, and this time that adventure brings me here to Sturgis. No, not that Sturgis, Sturgis, Kentucky. And I have to be really careful about what's going on behind me because this rally is all about bikes, beer, and another thing that starts with B's that I won't say and I can't show you on this episode. All right, Sturgis, Kentucky. That's where we start this week's episode of the Biker Dad Show. Let's roll. On this episode of Biker Dads, a biker dad with a passion for motorcycles and meatloaf.
No, nothing fancy.
We ride to New York to eat and meet the man who spent 53 years feeding bikers and veterans. Plus the bike of the week that has me all purple with passion for another street bob. Then, a touching tribute for a little boy lost to tragedy, how bikers gave him a unique final ride, and why they are still hunting for justice in the little boy's death. But first, the little Sturgis that could. The woman who saved one of the South's biggest rallies, and maybe her hometown too. Have you ever sat at your job and thought, what if I just got up and left? Tell that horrible boss to take this job and shove it. Have you ever wanted to just walk out? What about burnout? Well, that's exactly what I did, but I didn't just quit. I left my 25-year corporate career to ride motorcycles and tell your story. Daytona Beach, Florida, where you can actually drive onto the beach. Rick Fairless, a legend of his own, introduced me to Richard Rollins, Mayfield, Kentucky, Southeast Missouri, beautiful city of Knoxville, Tennessee, Gulf Coast of Mississippi, the Florida coast and the Tampa Bay area, Orange County Choppers, Roadhouse and Museum, talking to Paul Tuttle Sr. himself. But make no mistake, this is not a show about motorcycles or even about me. Instead, I travel across the country to meet the people who use their passion for motorcycles to make their communities stronger, safer, and better. This is Biker Dad. Let's face it, there's not a lot going on in rural Kentucky. In fact, a lot of times, the only thing to do is sit and watch the bluegrass grow. Especially in the sleepy little town of Sturgis. Except for 1 week out of the year when it becomes the biggest party in the South.
Biker Dad, that's above. I'm Jessica Richardson. I'm from here. I'm a local.
From Sturgis?
Yeah.
So how long have you been coming out here? Not very long.
Just 2 years.
All right.
Seeing everybody, seeing everything.
Yeah, everything, right?
It's pretty fun because not very many locals come, so we get to have fun and you're not usually recognized. As the sun goes down, you really got to keep your eyes open because it's everywhere.
What's everywhere?
Just about every piece of everybody. You hear like, oh, it's really fun, and then you come out here and you're like, wow. Oh, the women are beautiful. Everywhere you look, they are. There's all sizes, all shapes. It's awesome.
So I'm Gadget. I'm the public relations officer of Chattanooga 1813. We're a Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. It's about everybody loving being on two wheels, the free spirit, and just sharing that brotherhood. Very, very free spirited. So, you can't come down here with any kind of judgment. You got to come down here to party, have fun.
And it's in Kentucky, so it's okay.
What happens in Kentucky might stay in Kentucky, but this little rally right here almost didn't because of that other Sturgis and lawsuits. But one hometown family took it on themselves to save this rally and maybe the little town too.
Carlene Thomas, my husband and I, Bill Thomas, own this rally. Our Chamber of Commerce had it for 19 years. They decided to cancel it. So my husband and I decided we wanted to take it over because our town needs it.
At the center of the party in Sturgis, Kentucky is the campground. Camping is a big part of this rally.
You can rent a tent and you can show up and just bring your bike.
That's right. Camp Easy Ride also pitches their tents at Sturgis in Kentucky. Camp Easy Ride is a sponsor of the Biker Dad TV show. And the campground is the center of the party, as we said, and sometimes things back there get a little unsafe for TV. It gets a little wild back there, I hear.
It does get a little wild in the back, but they're just having a good time. It's just a time that people can come and cut loose.
The owners of Sturgis asked me not to show a lot of what goes on back here, and that's no problem because it would end up with me getting canceled.
It's a real experience. If you had one thing to plan every year, you should plan this bike rally.
It's well worth the drive, absolutely. You have to go to a rally to see things like this. Hopefully I see everybody soon.
This is Biker Dad.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We are learning more about the Macoupin County toddler killed earlier this month.
Now, we now know the Department of Children and Family Services was involved with 3-year-old Hunter Drew. Hunter was placed with a foster family who were also his aunt and uncle last year before a court ordered Hunter be placed in the custody of his father in August. He died last Thursday.
In a statement, DCFS saying in part, quote, a caseworker visited the home 6 times in September and October to ensure the child was in a safe environment.
In central Illinois, bikers once again proving that they have such big hearts. Rumbling through the state capitol, demanding justice for Hunter Lee Drew. The 3-year-old boy was in the foster care of his aunt and uncle, Keel and Haley Quigley. Before the state of Illinois, they say put the little boy in the hands of his abuser, and they accuse the state of failing him. Keel and Haley Quigley sent me this video of the ride rumbling through the state capitol, and they spoke to the local news station about the tragedy and about their hunt for justice.
He had a smile that lit up a room.
The biggest blue eyes.
Biggest blue eyes that you could ever imagine. He was the life of the party anywhere that we went.
Hunter loved loud planes, loud cars, and especially loud motorcycles. And when a local funeral director heard about that, he made sure Hunter's final ride was a special one, taking him around the state capitol with his biker brothers and sisters in a hearse drawn by a motorcycle.
We have to explain to our oldest child why his cousin will never be back. We have to explain to our middle child why he can't see his best friend.
The Chicagoland Motorcycle Parade benefiting Toys for Tots is celebrating its 45th year. It's the largest motorcycle parade in the world, and this year's parade takes place on Sunday, December 4th. Thousands of motorcycle riders come to Chicago to ride together and donate toys for needy children. Come along and ride. All you need is to bring a toy with you, new, unwrapped, and make sure your motorcycle is street legal. For more information, go to chicagolandtft.org. Brought to you by the Motorcycle Safety Lawyers. When I'm on a long trip and I have to carry so much stuff, I can't even think about having fun. It just kind of sucks. But I found something really cool. It's called Camp Easy Ride. They set up everything for you when you get there and they tear it all down when you leave. You get to party your butt off each night back at your own glamour tent compound. Simply arrive, party, drop, repeat, and leave. Book your trip right now at campeasyride.com. Hi there, this is Chris Best, the Biker Dad. I'm just here to let you know that myself and the hundreds of thousands of people who follow us on social media and watch the TV show are here to help. Do you need help with something? Give me a call. That's my number right there, 251-402-6392. Especially if you need legal help, I have an army of lawyers across the country who can help you with injuries after motorcycle crashes especially, but other stuff like crime and everything else too. So give me a call, 251-402-6392.
When we say I'm your employee, that means that we are here to serve the client. Often a client will ask me, can the Garza Law Firm do this? And the answer is yes, absolutely. I see myself as your employee. I'm here to work for you. Our commitment at the Garza Law Firm is to find both the process and the result that best serves and protects your interests and your families.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
My name is Chris Best, and I left my 25-year career to ride motorcycles and tell stories. And now I'd like to invite you to come along for the ride. You can watch my new show, Biker Dad TV, right here every week. Sundays at 11:30 p.m. on Fox 56. Brought to you by Garza Law. Now here's the Biker Dad Bike of the Week. Bike of the Week. Bike of the Week. If you've been watching the Bike of the Week segments for the past, 8-9 months we've been doing this show, you'll know one thing that I have a passion for, and that is street bobs. So we're calling this one Purple Passion. Yeah. All right, what year is this street bob?
So it's a 21 street bob that we had custom painted, purple. The painter's a local guy. He's done a lot of work for us here at the shop. This is one of my favorite colors that we've done on a street bob because it's Mobile, right? Our colors are purple. So love this paint, love this bike. It is pre-owned. It has less than 1,000 miles on it.
Less than 1,000 miles?
Less than 1,000 miles, 979.
I put more miles on my bike in one day this week than that. That's crazy. So obviously, I love the street bobs. I've never seen a purple one before. It still has the mid controls, which I think is a good idea. I think anybody who puts forward controls on a street bob isn't riding it the right way. Put some highway bars if you want to put your feet up.
I'm 6'6", and I like mid controls as well.
And this street bob is, and they've been doing this for a couple years. It's got the soft tail rear end instead of the Springer forks. You have one single spring under the seat, right?
Yep. So it is the monoshock that Harley's been using for a couple of years now, compared to the old Dyna model. Another really cool thing about this bike is it does have a stage 1 on it. It's got Cobra slip-ons, your heavy breather, and a Screaming Eagle tuner on here. So it sounds great, looks great. Awesome motorcycle.
Yeah, I have the Screaming Eagle air intake on my bike and stage 1 with the fuel pack. So yeah, that really brings a little bit more pep to a bike that's already peppy. And this has got just the 103 or 114?
107.
107 on this bike. 107 cubic inch engine on basically a heavy bicycle. So these things scoot and they're incredibly fun to ride. And believe it or not, you can ride one of these across the country. I've done it on my street bob.
I've done it.
These are even more comfortable than the old street bob I had. All right, let's execute that passion, jump on this purple thing and roll out. Our Back on 2 segment is brought to you by Garza Law and the National Academy of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Our Back on 2 story is a cautionary tale, something I've heard over and over again from countless motorcycle crash victims. And it's a problem that can haunt you long after the hospital stay and even long after your recovery.
Well, I was on my way to work. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I had the green light. The other side was green with a caution for turning. The lady that I hit she made a left-hand turn right in front of me. There was no time to brake or stop. It was instant. Destroyed the bike. It fractured my ankle and dislocated it. And I've got 3 or 4 pins in it, holding it together. My pelvis, as a result of hitting the gas tank as hard as I did, it open book fractured my pelvis. So to put it back together, I've got 4 pins in the front and I've got 2 in my back. I always just got the basic insurance on my vehicles, especially once they were 20 years old. It was just like, why cover it? So I just got basic liability, whatever the state wanted to cover me if I hit somebody else, because I knew my vehicle was done. It just was one of those things. But would this wreck happen because I didn't at least get the under or no insured motorist on my vehicle? If I'd have had that, it would have helped cover this accident. And because it didn't, I'm kind of on the back end of it. I don't have the kind of coverage for it that I should have had. Take the minute, spend the extra $5. That's all it costs us on our bikes, is extra $5. That $5 will make a whole big difference in your mindset going down the road. I mean, it's not just us on our bikes. We got to look out for our families at home they're the aftermath. If I hadn't come home, I don't know what they would have done. I'm getting another one. And this next spring, I'm planning on getting back on it. I'm going to have to modify it, but I'm going to get back on one.
Getting your insurance evaluated is free and easy. If you need an expert to help you, hit me up. Just email me, chrisbest@tvbikerdad.com, or call me, 251-402-6392. I'm the distracted driver on Halloween night who's maybe had a few, even some Jello shots. Woohoo! And I don't follow the rules, so I don't use my turn signals. And I don't have any insurance. And I just made a left turn in front of your motorcycle. That's the scariest thing this Halloween. I'm not really that guy, so I really don't give a damn what kind of insurance you have. Just make sure you have uninsured motorist. And if you don't know what that is, you probably don't have it. If you need some help finding out, just call my number. It's right there on the screen. And avoid motorcycle mayhem like me.
I was riding a motorcycle. Out of nowhere came a car at the intersection, and I basically remember a blur and the noise. Basically just thankful I was still alive. After working with the firm, they have more than exceeded our expectations. Answered every question, no matter what, and kept our minds at ease, and we knew everything was going to be okay.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
I'm Marcos Garza of the Garza Law Firm. And whenever you hang around motorcyclists for any period of time, you start to realize they're more about each other than they are about themselves. And so, one, they need representation, because a lot of times, my experience is that motorcyclists will get the short end of the stick if they're not properly represented. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen an accident report where it says the motorcyclist was, driving too fast, or driving at Mach 1, or exceeding the speed, and most of the time, that's not true at all. If you go out and you look under all the rocks, shake all the bushes, find all the witnesses, pull 911 tapes, do a full investigation, then you'll find out there's often a witness out there too, like, he or she was driving the speed limit. There's this sort of kind of assumption made, I think, often by police officers and citizens, not because they're bad people, but they just associate motorcyclists with speeding somehow. And so if you can get out in front of a case early and get involved in a case early enough, you can kind of squash that and get a better result. Out of members of society, if you took any cross-section, I'll take a cross-section of motorcyclists any day on average over any other group of people, except maybe the Marines.
I've never had a serious motorcycle accident, but I know if I do, April Violet and Marcos Garza with Garza Law have got my back.
Hey everybody, April Violet here, Miss Heels on Wheels. We're trying to do something new, all right? We decided we're gonna take you a behind the scenes look at how we do a centerfold photo shoot for our Thunder Roads, Tennessee, Kentucky magazine. This bike, if you don't know, is infamously seen all over the United States at every bike rally. And we have been trying to pin the owner down to see if we could put it in a photo shoot. We finally showed up here in Sturgis, Kentucky on a whim with no plans. And lo and behold, here it is. Look at it. We also found a beautiful model walking around. We just snagged her up, put her in that little cowgirl hat and locked her in and said, let's do this shoot. She was so sweet to do it for us.
Kind of go up, legs cross, kind of grab your hat, kind of do the, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, I'm Steve. I'm with Thunder Roads Magazine, Tennessee and Kentucky. We're doing a photo shoot with Jack's awesome bike that has been seen around the nation, on Facebook posts, on everywhere that you would want to see a bike. This bike stands out. Can't miss them. The bikes are easy because there's so many great looking bikes. It's just finding the owners of them. So please send in to let us know who you are with what bike you have. And finding the models is sometimes easy, sometimes hard. Here at Little Sturgis, we had an easy time finding the right girl.
Jack Johnson from North Mississippi, right? He works for Light Rider LED from out of Alabama. How this bike came about?
Well, my son has Williams syndrome, and he works for Haunted Castle, and he's owned several masks, and I had them all painted on there as kind of like a tribute to my son for his love of clowns. He loves it.
Does he love it? I bet he does.
It draws a crowd everywhere it goes. People love it. A lot of people that don't even like clowns still say, I want to take pictures of it, send to people that's scared of clowns or whatever. But yeah, and then the story behind it, everybody kind of gets behind it, and I have a lot of followers and people that show love for it to my son. It's just humbling for sure that the people actually, you know, like it, and my son enjoys it too.
So watch for Thunder Roads, Tennessee, Kentucky in our October issue, obviously.
Ride to eat to live, live to ride. A little life hack from life on the road. If you see a couple of these parked in front of a restaurant, the food's gonna be good, because bikers know where all the good food is, and they tell each other where all the good food is. So when I was running past Danny's Diner here in Binghamton, New York, and I saw these motorcycles, I knew that's where I was gonna eat, and it did not disappoint. And the story behind this place and the man who's been running it for 53 years is even better than the food. Danny Janicki is the Danny behind Danny's Diner, and he has been here for a very, very long time.
Been here for 53 years.
Ever since he got back home from the Vietnam War in 1970. The diner was actually a prefab thing, part of a fad back in the early 20th century.
Coming right up to Assembly Line in New Jersey. Built 1938. He sat on the other side of Binghamton from 38 to 68 when we moved over here in 68. And then I bought it after I got out of the service in 70. I did a lot of veterans in there. A lot of veterans, a lot of bikers.
Yeah. Being a veteran and a biker, Danny loves to cater to our veteran heroes and those on two wheels, especially since he rides himself. His son is actually a Harley Davidson mechanic, but he loves to point out what kind of bikes they both ride. All right.
Yeah, he's got a Honda. I got a Harley.
After 53 years of doing this, Danny's finally ready to hang up the apron. Now he's handing over the greasy spoon to his son. But what about the name? Is it still going to be Danny's? What's your son's name?
Danny.
All right, so it's still going to be Danny. Danny says the secret to his success has been hard work and keeping it simple. Serving up comfort food like meatballs and meatloaf, and of course, some of the best breakfast in the Northeast.
No, nothing fancy.
And Danny wants you to know one more thing, no matter who's behind the counter.
We're always here. Always here.
One little shocking thing about my experience at Danny's Diner is when they brought me the check. No, I wasn't shocked that it was so high. I was shocked that it was so low. $7 for a Western omelet, home fries, toast, and coffee. $7. I left a pretty large tip though. Thank you, Danny's, for welcoming me like I'm part of the hometown here in Binghamton, New York. I will definitely be back here next time I'm in town. That's it for this week's episode of the Biker Dad TV show, coming to you from the wild and crazy Sturgis, Kentucky. We'll see you next time on Biker Dad, and until then, please look twice for motorcycles.